sources say Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins will not face any formal charges as prosecutors have declined to move forward with the case. This
Quinshon Judkins, welcome to get about 30 carries a game, son. This is major news for the Cleveland Browns. I was actually getting done. I was about to head out here. I was done recording, but Quinshon Judkins, I think, one of the better stories of college football, turned into a very bad story, obviously, as he had these allegations. Now, when we reported on it, like I said, it was allegations, but the most important thing that was making it sticky for him is the fact that he had not signed his contract. At the time, a bunch of second-round picks were waiting to get fully guaranteed contracts. Now, what does that mean for his guaranteed money? I don't know, but for the Browns, it means that you have a nasty, and I mean a very nasty, rookie 1-2 punch that's ready to come back. So let's get into some of these details first. So first off, obviously breaking, rookie running back Quinshon Judkins won't face any formal charges and will likely return to the team within the near future. And then it's a few more here, and then I'm gonna give my take on it. All right, so now Nick Padone says you have to remember this does not mean the NFL will not suspend Quinshon Judkins after their investigation. So their investigation is still going on as of 2 days ago, as Mary Kay says. Cleveland.com has obtained the decline memorandum from the Broward County State Attorney's Office with an explanation of why they've decided to not formally charge Quinshon Judkins with DV. As of 2 days ago, the NFL was still reviewing the case, right? So they are still theoretically inactive. And my man Daniel, of course, always gives us a great rundown of everything. So here it is. So the decline memorandum by the state attorney's office says, in part, this incident was not captured on any video surveillance. There are no independent witnesses to the incident. Although the victim had photos showing injuries sustained, there were also videos in that same time frame where no injuries were observed to the victim, which is weird. Additionally, the victim's injuries depicted in the photos could be explained by either account of the incident. Finally, okay, so like both of the accounts of the incident, it could happen. All right, finally, there was a delayed report of the incident. The delay is problematic as the victim was alone on numerous occasions without the defendant, had the ability and resource to make the report without his knowledge, but chose not to do so. For the reasons set forth above, there is no reasonable likelihood of conviction, and this case is being declined. So the prosecutors have declined it. They have dropped the case. And now after reading all this, I do want to give some takes because I gave some takes. And my biggest take was, hey, we don't know what's happening, but I'm also a mama's boy. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes me weird or whatever, or maybe it's just my age. I also wanted to believe this victim, right? And shout out to my man, Mark Lamont Hill. I don't know if that scares you. I know some people are very passionate about him, but I'll be messing with him on the JVP. He be doing his little thug dizzle. Right. And this is one of those cases where, hey, let's just believe the victim, right? Nothing bad happened to Quinshon other than, right, something bad did happen. He was out of football for a while, right? A lot of people looked at him in a crazy way. I felt bad because y'all know how high I was on Quinshon Judkins. Y'all can go look back in the college football days, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that was I was pumping Quinshon Judkins. I wish I didn't because they beat us in the semifinal, but not the point, right? I think it was, and this is what I don't want. I don't want people to think that, believing these young women when they say this, it does not mean that they're always going to be right. But what it does mean is that we can allow the time to be passed because now, guess what I'm going to say? Quinshon, you good. Like, hey, you ain't gonna hear nothing about me. I ain't going to say nothing about him doing nothing with nobody because I have clear evidence that is now showing and disparaging some of those things. So let's go through those things. So first off, the delayed response. I remember when it first came out, I said, hey, look, guys, we can't just say that the delayed response is, the reason, or it's just, hey, it's not happening. I laid out some scenarios where, hey, she could have been scared. She could have whatever. They could have been on a trip together and, she's in the same place, X, Y, Z. She doesn't feel that way. It seems like that's wrong. That's not right. Okay. And then we talked about, her, having some problems, maybe being scared, maybe wanting to have and save Quinshon Judkins, and then last minute then changed. Okay, we can give you that. But the fact that there are no witnesses, there's no camera, and then at this point there are injuries that after time has been allowed, has been explained. Hey man, Quinshon Judkins, welcome to get about 30 carries a game, son. Go ahead, give him about 30 carries a game. Get some burn for this boy. I'm so happy, and I really hope this is the last time I ever have to talk about this, because this sucks. I do want to point something out. During all this, as we get back to football, right, we're gonna watch some of the Cleveland Browns media react to it. As we get back to football, something interesting that needs to be pointed out. Quinshon Judkins has still yet to sign his contract. So that, and then of course, the NFL is still doing an investigation. So again, the NFL might deem it like the fact that you were even in this scenario, they might give him a punishment, right? That's how they might look at it. Or they might see this as completely dropped and be like, whatever. Okay, cool. It's dropped, right? But you have to understand that the NFL investigation is independent, right? Now, I really hope that has to do with it, right? If he's found, if he ain't gonna even press do anything, I think that's great. But I want you to understand, this was looking like a scenario where Quinshon Judkins might have had to wait until 2026 to get signed or do anything. Right? So the fact that, in the nick of time, he's apparently going to get freed up to the point that where he might and most likely will be able to ready rock and roll for week 1. I hope he's been training and doing all that other stuff. So we'll see what, Kevin Stefanski does, how he decides how they want to reintegrate him back into the team. I do want to point something out. Again, like I talked about, there is a whole, contract and rookie element to this. Mac the Buffalo pointed out something. He said the Browns told Quinshon Judkins to focus on his legal issues before training camp, right? So before even coming to camp, focus on legal issues. But Devin Bush's pretrial hearing on 8/15 on an alt, I'm gonna just say an alt charge, and he's been practicing. So was that a lie in Judkins' absence purely contract related? I don't know. But what I do know is the fact that he didn't have his contract signed at the time of that made this a lot murkier, and it messed up a lot of his leverage. Now, here's the thing, and this is where it's really sucks, and why when this initially happened, y'all can fact check. I hope, and I had the thought process of, man, this sucks regardless, right? Like, no matter what, no matter if it comes out like it is and charges dropped, XYZ, she says I was, it was whatever, I was lying. Even if that comes out, right, we're seeing that now with the quarterback competition where time is money, baby, right? So forget about the leverage. Let's say all this goes away, the NFL does nothing, NFL finds no wrongdoing, everything's crispy, prosecutors drop everything. It's just me, Quinshon Judkins. It was just a scenario. Okay, let's say that. In the world of contract negotiations, dog, you just missed camp. How am I going to give you a fully guaranteed contract and you can't be ready for camp? We were just talking about this with Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel, because y'all know Tony Grossi, when Shador's arm was sore, hey man, that's his fault. Why isn't his arm healthy? So in the same regard, that's why we're looking at, Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett, their hamstring injuries in the same regard. Hey, why can't you stay healthy? Well, in Quinshon Judkins' case, they could easily sit down at that contract table and be like, hey, yo, why can't you stay out of trouble just for pre-camp? You can't save this for when you have your contract signed. You can't save this. Well, that's a character flaw. I can't give you a fully guaranteed contract. Who's to say something like this doesn't pop up again? And even if it's a nothing burger, the negative press that it brings to the Browns while they actively have somebody on a charge practicing, and they got in QB1, it is known for raiding massage parlors. This is bad. And that's why it sucks for the Browns and it sucks for Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon doesn't get to train with his team for this time, but then when he goes to the contract table, the Browns are going to sit there and say, hey, you weren't here for that time. I can't give you what you want. I mean, they're not lying. But I hope all that nastiness goes. I hope he gets a contract signed. I hope Quinshon Judkins can report because, man, this would change a questionable running back room where you're going to have a quarterback who we don't know. It could just be Joe Flacco. But if you have a Quinshon Judkins, who by all accounts was looking like running back one coming out of rookie training camp and out of OTAs and everything, if you have him and then Dylan Sampson, an all-world SEC running back, and Jerome Ford, okay, now we cooking. Now we cooking. Hey, you can put me at quarterback. You got Quinshon, Dylan Sampson, and Ford. Well, y'all gonna be all right. So what does the media have to say about it?
Big news coming in right now that we're actually referring to. It started with Andy Slater, then Jordan Schultz had now Mary Kay Cabot having it as well. Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins will not face any formal charges from the alleged incident in South Florida. Prosecutors have declined to move forward with the case. And I know that this then opens up a whole nother bit of conversation. This is unlikely to stop the NFL from pursuing potential suspension for Quinshon Judkins, although Mary Kay Cabot reporting the NFL and Browns also conducting their own investigation. So suspension still is on the table. And in terms of guilty, not guilty, just because prosecutors have declined to move forward with the case.
But that's the important part to note there, though, is that we've seen so many NFL cases where there's no criminal charges that are pressed, and the NFL still comes out and suspends the player. Big Ben, Zeke, Kareem Hunt is another one. Even the Jordan Addison thing last year involving cars. It wasn't even involving anything that is in the framework of Judkins. But the point remains, like if the NFL decides that you did something that is detrimental to the league, they still then have the right to suspend you, and they will.
So with all that, I think the timing with the Quinshon stuff is, when does the NFL wrap up their investigation?
So, and I'm happy that they kind of threw some cold water on me because, he makes a really good point. And it was similar to the point that I was making about how do the Browns handle this where, contract wise or signing him wise, X, Y, Z, right? Because he still hasn't had signed his contract. So that I think adds a little extra layer there, right? When you talk about the way that the NFL is going to handle it, it's always going to come down to optics, right? And I just gave you just a one team reason why the Browns would have a problem and would, hey, you don't have leverage. So with that being said, unless something else comes out, it's not a criminal charge. Now, does that mean a civil assault lawsuit might not come? Does that mean, again, like I alluded to, does that mean something else won't come up or another instance, X, Y, Z? Now, I also want to point out something that I was pointing out as it first came out. And the thing that I want to point out, because people are like, oh my God, the Browns players picked wrong. We should have got Trevion Henderson. It's like Quinshon Judkins had zero pass, like absolute zero. In fact, we were talking about one of the main reasons why that charge, I think, became a misdemeanor is because it was his first time doing it or whatever. Anything. We went back through his stuff. There's nothing. There is no pass or interesting whatever. Ole Miss, I've been watching him since he was a freshman at Ole Miss. Besides Lane Kiffin having a problem with Ole Miss having more money, than Ohio State having more money than Ole Miss and getting him over there, which I also saw Lane Kiffin was making some funny remarks about this whole little situation. Lane Kiffin's a dweeb, dog. Anyway, besides that, you didn't see anything negative. So I want to reinstate that. By the way, nothing negative that this young man has done, so hopefully that helps him too. And hopefully, either more details or whatever the NFL investigates and finds him A-okay to just go ahead and start playing. But the Browns and the NFL are doing their own separate independent investigation. So just something to kind of keep in mind. Love for that running back to get back, but it might not be as soon as it seems. All right, this is the last one here from ESPN.
Sources
Cleveland.
say Browns rookie running back Quinshon Judkins will not face any formal charges as prosecutors have declined to move forward with the case. This clears the way for his return to the team is what he's being told, and that's likely going to be happening very soon. Guys, your thoughts on Quinshon Judkins coming back, or hopefully signing with Browns soon. When do you expect an impact from him? He's already missed almost 4 weeks of camp.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how the Browns handle this, because if he just walks in with the ones, it's same old Browns.
But at the same time, though, I'm encouraged by the fact that, okay, say he does sign Monday, that still gives you 3 weeks.
Okay, so again, you still got 3 weeks. You still have some time, right? Undoubtedly, it's rough missing 4 weeks of training camp, but better to have you than to have you late, right? Or better to have you late than not have you at all. So just shout out to Quinshon Judkins. I hope everything is right, and I hope this is the real deal truth, and we can just get away from this scenario. Again, by all accounts, a great kid, a great young man that like some people were pointing out in my comments. The other half of it, and I didn't want to be respectful to ladies and to be respectful for the situation. I didn't want to even acknowledge it. But now that we here, I don't know, man. He don't have no problems until he signed with the NFL. I don't know, dog. Hey, man, y'all know me. I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but if somebody comments down below, hey, man, they trying to get his money, and I look at the time, and he ain't never had no problems. He ain't never had no issues. And the only time he had issues was a delayed response when he went somewhere else on a vacation. And in fact, he got in trouble spending money. That's how I know it's funny. Must be the money. So, all things considered, let's be specific. I love that song. Yeah, I am just happy that hopefully Quinshon can put this behind him. I'm hoping that a young lady was also that wasn't done to you. Young lady, because that's awful. And I hope if you lying, you get cut off or whatever, and you get your charges, Miss Lady, because that's not cool either. This is a young man who has his family's life in probably his eyes. As a dude, I understand. He probably he has his family's life on the line, and it's been dangling for 4 weeks because of apparently what is something that it can't even be enforceable. So something to think about, something to believe about. News coming for the Browns. Good news for the Browns. Hey, man, like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you like football content. What's your next up? Hey.